Welcome to this episode of Your Property Business, the video podcasts that help you get the most out of your own property business. Absolutely. And that's so the endless supply of deals is kind of the hook, isn't it? And that's the promise of the software. And I think you're right. So I've been trained by Simon, and one of the things that he says, it struck me how similar Property Filter did things the way Simon said to do things. For example, I don't know if that's deliberate or not, but the idea of following up and never losing, always follow up, because that statistic, 1 in 3 deals fall through. So you want to be there as the next person to pick it up. For example, so your software forces that, isn't it? It creates the leads, so goes into an inbox, and it forces the follow-up, amongst other things.
So we've studied success, So Simon is one of the people we were hanging around and we've learned from, like the golden rule of property investing, rule number 1, find motivated sellers, or he's got this flow chart, and the first question people ask he asks in the flow chart is the seller motivated or not? And then it defines everything, And so the software is all built all about finding motivated sellers. And Simon is one of many people we sort of got inspiration from in terms of what works, what doesn't work. And we basically, because I used to network quite a lot and go out to, I would connect with the host, with the all the speakers, and then take people for coffee and then Zoom and things like that. And I would really, because we're engineers, we are quite geeky to understand, okay, why is it that this guy is doing, what is it that he's doing right, and what do I need to emulate, And I had 400 of these conversations, basically. And then if I have to summarize it very succinctly, property is a lot more simple, that we make it. Basically, it's a people's business and it's a numbers game. It's a people business because we want to buy properties from people who need to sell. So from some educators call them the motivated sellers, and the relationship you build, will go a long way. And people want, it's a long game as well. Like people want it cooked and done for them right now. But the truth is, the relationship you build with people on the ground, and all of a sudden people bring you deals all the time. So all of this is ingrained in the methodology, and it's a numbers game where it's a bit. People have got to get used to rejection, basically. So put offers on the stuff that you see. You've got an angle, and you can turn into a deal, and then the deals are in the follow-up, And the prime is what we've seen is that the status quo, like right now, what your listeners' competition are doing is they spend most of their time scrolling on the portals, or spend money on marketing that doesn't really work, direct to vendor marketing that doesn't really work, and then so because this consumes a lot, all this research and all that consumes a lot of their time, then they randomly book viewings, based on the pictures, the layout, and they go to places where really they shouldn't go and see these. Therefore, they don't put offers, and they never follow up on the offers they put in. So now the people, when you become a Property Filter member, so we explain the methodology, and basically the system gives you all the low-hanging fruits of 90% of what's on the market basically is a waste of time. So so it just filters. It's called Property Filter. So it filters out all the noise and points you straight to those potentially most motivated sellers. And then from there, it's a framework where so you value your time. You only view the properties that are worth viewing, and then for every offer you do, you put an offer in. Every viewing you do, you put an offer in, and then you never miss a follow-up. And the system is built, and it's very simple. And all of a sudden, people get results, from they are in the top 1% of people, because it's a very simple process to follow. But it's not easy because it's normally requires a lot of admin, So anybody going for it in property will have some sort of a follow-up system where they copy-paste Rightmove links in a spreadsheet or Trello board, or sometimes they even pay for CRM softwares, But the problem is that none of these softwares are alive with the market, so you always end up, you're regularly opening the Rightmove links. So, this is all the pains I had myself, So I used to sit every Monday evening, lying to myself, say, okay, let's open let's make some progress and make some waves on my property business today.
Yeah.
And then everything you do is just opening every Rightmove links, updating the spreadsheet, and then an hour and a half after, you've not made any progress. Like you've just
No.
lied to yourself, being busy.
Yeah.
And then you think to yourself, oh, surely I can't be doing this. So I'm going to pay a VA, to do. We were talking about VAs. I'm going to pay a VA to do this for me, and the VA updates the spreadsheets twice a week. And then you pay £200 a month, £300 a month just for the spreadsheet to be updated.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, there's got to be a better way, And it ties in everything, from filtering going straight to the leads that works for us, and then all the end, converting these leads into good deals, basically.
So it's a kind of a methodology as well as a system. And what impresses me so much about your company is you don't just leave it there saying, here, there's this wonderful thing I've built. Off you go. Have some success. Yeah, see you later. It's not about that. What I'm picking up from being a member is there is a community and there's so much support. So you almost like teaching you how to run that business. So here's some software, here's a methodology, and we'll support you to be successful. So it seems like you're not just buying software, you're buying it's almost a success path to either one property or a sourcing business or whatever you want to take it, I guess, however you want to scale. But if it's just one property, presumably, there's loads of value in this one property. But what I see from your business is a culture of deal sources, serious property investors who want to do things quicker and save time and just have a better experience creating their business and growing their business. So I think
the reason why people get into property is not to fill spreadsheets. It's not to it's not the admin and the overwhelm. We get in for the deals and to get progress. So basically the blueprint's got four steps. So first is all about like gold mine area. So finding the where you want to invest, where statistically the data tells us that you're going to have more chance, the yields are going to be better, the demand is going to be higher. But this is just one part. The data will only give you average performance of an area, but nobody builds an empire on buying average assets, basically. And then the way you buy above performing assets and find above performing assets is by buying from motivated sellers. So the second step is this: we've got these lead generators where you engage with the motivated sellers. Very, very, it's all automated. And then the third step is you take a decision very quickly. So you got all strategies, deal calculators, comparables with which calculate the average and price per square foot, all these things, which gives you like, what is a deal, and then we decide very quickly and we move on. And then finally, the fourth step is the property pipeline, where you convert all these good leads into great deals. So end to end, from figuring out where we want to invest all the way to getting the offer accepted, and it built as this methodology. And what this allows is moving people from a place where they spend most of their time. So today, someone might call themselves a property investors because I spend 3 hours a day on Rightmove on average, 20 hours a week on Rightmove. Therefore, I am a property investor, And the thing is that the deals happen outside the building, so it's a people business. But the problem is that because we spend so much time doing the research and so on, it's almost like we fall into this trap where, it's like despite us, we are procrastinating. Despite us, we fall into these things where we miss out on deals all the time because we spend so much time on the research, and then it's a bit too late. So a lot of time on the research in the spreadsheet, and then we are running around with the time we've got left trying to make deals, And because of all the automation on the blueprint, so all of this is front-loaded. It's front-loaded right at the beginning, so free ups your time so you can actually do the stuff that make money in property, which is going out, speaking with vendors, building rapport, doing deals, and we find with some people it's really uncomfortable, because it puts them on the spot right away. So it's like within 5-10 minutes of being on Property Filter, it's like, okay,
do you want that one?
You can make phone calls, it's time to book some viewings. And it's like, oh, well, but I really like to do my thing where I don't really do anything, So it's like, okay, well, what are you trying to do, So so it's a bit funny because we have to help people because they say, oh, can I give this to my VA to scrape and this, and say, well, it does it all for you. So you're ready to make some phone calls, within 5 minutes. So So it's a bit misleading, a bit weird for people at the beginning. It puts them on the spot, and it's like, oh wow, okay, time to go out of the building now.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
No more excuses.